7:02.
The Big Interview
With Bongani Bingwa.
18 after 7, 4 years almost to that fateful day when Babita Doekaran, a fearless whistleblower, was silenced in a hit-style assassination outside her South Johannesburg home. She was a mom of two. In fact, had just dropped off her daughter at school, unaware that it would be her last act. It was a murder that sent shockwaves across the nation, exposing the dark underbelly of corruption that threatens to consume our society. But the question that must be asked, was her sacrifice in vain? What actions have been taken about the very issues she was trying to raise before she was taken away so early in her life? Her brother, Rakesh Deokaran, has agreed to speak to us and joins us now on the line. Rakesh, it is an unfortunate time for us to be speaking, but of course, we can never forget what your sister did to sacrifice her life for our country. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning to you, Bongani, and your listeners.
How are you as a family, and how are the kids?
Just to rectify, she was a mother of one, a single mother of one.
I beg your pardon. I always thought she had two kids. I beg your pardon. My mistake.
Yeah.
How is her child?
No, she's good. She's okay. She's fine.
And you as a family?
We'll never be okay. Because, if you go back to 2021, and you will see, if you go into your archives, it will tell you. It was a security guard that you mentioned. When she walks into that building, he's the first person she greets. And that's the caliber of person she was.
Sure.
Us as a family, we'll never get over it. We would never.
I can't imagine any family does. Rakesh, we're looking back, of course, nearly 4 years later. Was her sacrifice in vain? How much has been done about the things that she was raising? How do you as a family feel?
It will never be in vain. She lived for something that transpired now. Everything is coming now to the fore. And it's difficult for us. It is honestly and truly difficult. We're not going to lie and tell people we're okay with it. We're not.
Have you been informed about the investigations that resulted from her death? Are you as a family being kept up to speed about what has happened since?
We have never. Because remember the 6 guys that got convicted to date. Remember, they were just the hitmen. And a hitman does not hire themselves. All we want is for the mastermind or masterminds to come back. Okay, it's not up to us at the end of the day. It's up to the SIU, it's up to the Hawks, it's up to the president of this country. Come, she put something on the table and no one investigated nothing. Everyone just thought, okay, 6 people, they did it, they done and dusted. No. We don't believe in that. And that's the honest truth.
Yeah. And just to be clear, when I say was her sacrifice in vain, it really is because it must surely sting, as you say, that it was only really the trigger men who were held accountable. We don't know what has happened to the masterminds, but more importantly, you as a family, you say you haven't been given the details. And so it's easy for politicians to almost claim the glory of something like this, when in fact the very issues she was raising about corruption haven't been attended to. The people she tried to warn about this corruption, who did nothing at the time, haven't been held accountable.
They never took accountability. I'm not going to mention names if you look at the media will show you there was a trail, and all you have to do is chase the money. That's all.
Are you encouraged by investigations into people like Vusi Kat Matlala?
Once again, I will not speculate, but the name came up in 2021. It's now 2025. So was the trail not followed?
Are we continuing to fail your sister?
Exactly. She started the process. She put it on paper. She did. But nobody followed the trail. So hence I say, it's up to the SIU, it's up to the Hawks, whoever was touching. What she gave it to them in the hand, but they never followed the trail.
Rakesh, our thoughts are with you, your family, your niece, and we are even speaking to you to try and raise awareness about the issues, because it cannot be that your sister's sacrifice was in vain. I appreciate you talking to us.
702
The Big Interview.
with Bongani Bingwa.
Listening to that, of course, is the chairperson of Public Interest SA, but also the convener of the 2025 Whistleblower Awards and Summit. Tebogo Khaas, we've spoken to you many a time before. No stranger to this show. Firstly, you heard what Rakesh Deokaran had to say there. Perhaps a broad response, a general response to what he has said and how whistleblowers and their families are treated in this kind of scenario?
Bongani, Babita's case is a tragic reminder that, whistleblowers are left to fend for themselves, as you can hear from Rakesh's comments. And despite alerting authorities about corruption itself, she was not given protection, and she was brutally assassinated. What makes it even more jarring is that at the time, you'd recall the Premier of Gauteng, then it was David Makura, and some of the senior officials actually did not want to accept her act of whistleblowing as that of a whistleblower. In fact, they rubbished any claims that she was a whistleblower. But her death really just shows that, failing to act on whistleblowers' warnings costs not only money, but human lives. So much money has been lost through the Department of Health in Gauteng. We know what the investigation that Jeff Weeks and others have done on the matter, and the amount of money that has been squandered and the lives that have been put in peril, and the list keeps on going.
I mean, the lack of political will is one thing. The cynic in me almost wonders if it's deliberate to look the other way, if it's deliberate to not protect whistleblowers, if it's deliberate to have legislation like the Protected Disclosures Act, when in fact we know meaningfully it doesn't translate to the protection of these people who raise the alarm.
You hit the nail on the head, Bongani. The gaps lie in enforcement, and particularly the scope of the existing legislation, that is the PDA. This act does not compel state agencies to proactively protect whistleblowers, but we are heartened to see that bodies like the National Anti-Corruption Advisory Council has now proposed the establishment of a dedicated Office of Public Integrity, which will, amongst other things, hopefully be able to provide victim support and other support to whistleblowers. But it is enforcement and follow through. I mean, you've heard, Rakesh, what you are saying, that since 2021, names have been dropped, names have been known. 4 years later, we're still sitting here. The masterminds are out there.
And just the common human decency, hey, of going back to the family and saying, this is how far we are, this is where we think we might go, even if you don't give them specific details, because of course investigations are still ongoing, but just the decency of sitting down with the family and saying, we're with you, we see you.
What happened to Ubuntu? What happened to Batupili? Here's somebody who paid the ultimate price to try and save the fiscus. If you just narrow it to the Department of Health, we know all the problems that are afflicting the health services in Gauteng. All the hospitals running, some of them running out of medication equipment and overworked staff. And yet no action is being taken to ensure that, even those who do right by the state, those who do right by us, are actually supported, kept informed, and made sure that there's follow through in terms of the work that investigative journalists have done. And that is an abomination.
I wonder if it's deliberate. Tebogo Khaas, appreciate your time. Chairperson of Public Interest, South Africa.
Current events, developing stories,
Tough questions.
your voice making a difference.
This is Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa.